What's up, YouTube? This is Ultimate Shield 340 back at it again with another Destiny 2 video. So, in today's video, I actually wanted to talk about, some things that I saw that I wanted to kind of bring to your attention and ways to circumvent a particular problem that maybe you might have, maybe you might not have, but this particular issue is revolving around barrier champions. So, if you notice in the artifact mod, you see here that the only thing that we have that addresses the barrier champions are the piercing sidearms trait here. Now, if you're anything like me, I don't typically run piercing sidearms, so I was actually rather disappointed to know that this is, there's not any auto rifle, piercing sidearms or, pulse rifles or, even bows, because I hardly ever use sidearms, so I was a little bit disappointed with that, but the whole purpose of this video is to help you to circumvent sort of that issue and give you some options in case you have not considered it for yourself. So, obviously, of course, if you wanted to get the mod, you can get the mod and then pick up some sidearms to, supplement your build, kind of like what I have here. I kind of just picked up a sidearm around, just regular drops and stuff. If that's what you want to do. However, if you actually don't want to go that route, there are a few other options that you do have. So even within the artifact mod, there are certain things that allow you to sort of circumvent this issue for barrier champions. So here, kindling trigger, radiant causes solar weapons to apply scorch to unscorched combatants. This is really good in the sense of, if you become Radiant using your Solar subclass, Radiant will allow you to pierce those barrier champion shields. Now, one thing I will tell you, though, is that I just want to just just make sure that you are aware of something. So, for instance, you see how I have the unstoppable hand cannons, right? If you think, in theory, you would think that because you have Radiant, and you have the unstoppable hand cannon perk, hand cannons would be able to stop unstoppable champions as well as deal with barrier champions. Unfortunately, that is not the case. If you have, or if you are using a weapon that has an artifact mod, a champion mod attached to it, so in my case, sidearms, hand cannons, and auto rifles, you cannot double dip into that, right? So, for instance, if I had an auto rifle and I had Radiant and I was shooting a barrier champion, the bullets would just bounce off the shield and it would have no effect. However, I could still shoot, in my case, overload champions using the auto rifle, regardless if I have Radiant or not, and it will still stun on overload champions. So, if you are going to use Radiant, whatever weapon you want it to affect those barrier champions, it cannot have the corresponding champion mod attached to it. So I just want to make you aware. Many of you already know you can use Radiant to address barrier champions, but this is more informational, just so you know. And then also, here's another one here too: Flint Striker, Rapid Solar Weapon Precision Hits, and Rapid Solar Weapon Final Blows grant Radiant. So in this case, again, you can, it doesn't matter what subclass you use, you don't have to use Solar. Even in my own class that I have here, I'll go back to it. I'm using Stasis, but I have a Solar weapon here, so I could actually use this to proc Radiant, and then because I do not have bows as my overload option here, then this bow will actually be able to pierce champions whenever that becomes available. So that's another way that you can do that. And then there's these two that you can use to help support that playstyle. Another option that you have, let's just say for the sake of argument, you're like, hey, I don't really use Solar. I want to kind of use something different instead of doing that. Well, here's another option. Strand weapons have unraveling rounds if you use this unraveling orb. So in other words, when you pick up a orb of power, anytime you shoot your strand weapon, it does not matter what kind of strand weapon it is, it will all have unraveling rounds. But the same thing applies. If you have the corresponding champion mod, it will not apply to the barrier champion itself. It will still tick out, it will still take effect, and it will still give you those swirling little wisps that will actually go ahead and attack those ads and stuff, and give you a lot of added DPS. But just so you know, you're not going to be able to double dip again, as I stated before. So in this way, there's like three ways for you to address barrier champions. Well, let's just say, hey, I don't want to use any of these three mods for whatever reason, or if you do want to use those mods for whatever reason, but it doesn't quite fit in your build, or you're looking for a weapon that you might want to use as an option. Well, I have an answer for you for that as well. So if you actually go into the vault, there is a sidearm here. It's called the Final Warning. As beyond the fact that it's a sidearm, which will automatically come with the barrier piercing rounds if you collect the artifact mod. Assuming if you don't, this actually the perk. It says all at once, holding down the trigger marks targets within range and loads multiple bullets with fire in a burst with increased stability on trigger release. Hitting a marked target with a fully charged burst will unravel them. Unravel will then create those. Assuming if you do not have the corresponding mod, if you take advantage of this all at once perk, you will automatically trigger those barrier rounds, those unraveling rounds using this weapon, and it'll intrinsically already address the barrier champions using this. And in order for you to get this weapon, all you have to do is go to Neomuna. You have to go all the way to Neomuna, and once you beat the Lightfall campaign, which you'll do over here, it doesn't matter if it's Legend or Classic, but you just have to beat the entire Nightfall campaign, come over here to the Paducah Pond, and it does not matter which class that you use, so it can be a Titan, a Warlock, or a Hunter, but basically you will, after beating the mission, you'll come here, and you have to buy all of the abilities for the for one class. So your hunter has to have all of the melees, all the supers, all of the aspects and fragments all on one character. Hunter, Warlock, Titan, it does not matter, but one person has to purchase all of those things, and then this place will actually drop the Final Warning there as an added mission, which is actually pretty easy to do. Even if you're, not necessarily a skilled player, it's not terribly hard to do, and you have plenty of time. So you'll just pick up that quest there, complete it, and then you'll actually have the Final Warning. And I'm not sure if it will sell it now because now we're in a new season. So I'll actually take a look. Let me see, Lightfall. Nope, it will not sell it. So actually, you're just gonna have to do as I said. Go complete all of that for that one class. Buy all those buy all those abilities. Then go through it, and then collect your thing there. Well, what if you don't like that weapon? What if you want to use something else? Well, great. I have one last suggestion for you, and it is this option here. It's called the Traveler's Chosen, which again is a sidearm that you can have that intrinsically, if you pick up the artifact mod, you'll go ahead and get the sidearm here. But then also, as you can see here, final blows of this weapon grant stacks of gathering light. You press it, consume stacks, and it lends itself very well to ability spam and things like that. Once you get the catalyst for this, it'll actually give you osmosis, which means that if you throw a grenade, this weapon type will change to whatever your subclass is. So, don't be like me. Make sure that you get the catalyst. And unfortunately, the catalyst, if I believe it is correct, it's a random drop that you get from doing a ritual activity. So that's Vanguard, playlists, Gambit, or Crucible, and it's a random drop. So that's rather unfortunate, but it is an option for you. And then, of course, because it will have osmosis, if you actually get lucky enough to do the catalyst, it will still take advantage of radiant, unraveling rounds, volatile rounds, or anything else that is anti-barrier there for you. So, and then, of course, because it's here in the kiosk here, you can just go ahead and purchase that with the appropriate glimmer, exotics, and shards. So I just wanted to bring this to your attention so that you actually will have some options to address some of the issues that you might be having with barrier champions. I'm sure many of you probably already know this, but You know, for those of you who don't know, I hope this is informational. For those of you who do know, I do appreciate that you know watch my video, took the time to take a look, and I hope that you like, share, comment, and subscribe. And you know, I hope that you continue to watch my channel for future Destiny 2 content. Hope that you guys are enjoying the dawning event. It has now started officially for me today. I'm going to be going through that and trying to see what I can see, and hopefully get that new stasis sword. Is kind of what I'm really aiming for that. I forget what it's called. Cold Steel, I think is what it's called. What will slow on hit. That seems pretty awesome to me, especially since, as you all know, I love stasis. So, that being said, that's all I got. This is Ultimate Shield 340 signing off, and I'll see you in Destiny 2. Peace.